This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, welcome everybody to another edition of Squash Canada's Coach PD webinar series. Today's topic is doubling down on double squash and how to build a vibrant program in your club. Our presenter is Eric Baldwin, who is Director of Athletics and Member Services from the BNR in Toronto. And I'll let Eric talk a little bit about his own background. Although in our registration page, he does talk about falling to Jonathan Power by 3-2 score. And I'd like to know if that's really true or not, Eric. But with that being said, Eric is going to get into the nitty gritty of double squash programming, teaching and coaching, and building great events and programming within your club for doubles. And if you have questions throughout the presentation, Eric said to just by all means unmute your microphone and just interject with your question, and he will answer as we go forward. So with that said, take it away, Eric.
Great, thank you very much, Jeff. And with the likes of Jamie Nichols and Marina Bennett on the phone call, I'm sure that interruptions will be happening. So I do welcome interruptions. I like the heckling, so feel free to jump in at any point and interrupt. I like it that way. So like a good squash match, a good double squash match, a little chaotic. So Jeff Johnson got me started, and my first rule was to make sure I included this logo into this. And I used the old ball bouncing feature, which was seemed appropriate at the time. But I'm very pleased to be here. Doubling down on doubles. As I went through creating this presentation, there was a lot of material and I wasn't sure what to pick and choose. I wasn't sure who was going to come. So I grabbed a little bit of instruction, a little bit of program creation, a little bit of event management, and then just some general stuff. So, but I'm happy to elaborate or cut back to things. We have on this phone call, we've got a lot of experience in running double squash events or in playing. My own personal mentor, Pat Richardson, is on the phone. He got me started in the game in I had a job interview at the Badminton Racquet Club, and I'd never played doubles before. When I got the job, that was in 1997. I met Pat in the summer of '97, and I called Pat and said, I have an interview and I've never played doubles. So Pat was the first guy to ever, my first ball striking was up at the cricket club. So it's great to have him here to see this. I don't know if it's a circle of life, it feels like, of sorts. So if today will be a success, if you can learn a little something, if something that you can cling to, always a sign of a good presentation. You get one thing to walk away with, hopefully remember. This is put here specifically for Pat Richardson. I hope that you will stay awake. He has a tendency to nap. It's particularly around this time. It's just after lunch, so he's probably a little sleepy. I hope that you will feel more excited about doubles, as excited as I am about doubles when we eventually get back. It's a massive passion of mine, maybe my greatest, and then all of the above. So for starters, I want to tell you a little love story, and that's my love story. It starts like this, and it does start back in in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, when I had just returned from the junior nationals in Winnipeg, my first ever junior nationals. I finished 6th in the country and came back and had to play in the PEI Junior Open and was in the finals. And I played this little runt of a kid who I was 11, he would have been 8 at the time. And I don't know if you know the difference between an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. It's like Caleb Hickox and an 11-year-old kid. Anyway, it's the size difference. And I was 6 in Canada, so I thought no chance. This kid drove down from Summerside PEI and beat me on that day. And then later that day, John Power Sr. beat my dad in the final. So it was a real bad day for the Baldwins. From there, I went to Nova Scotia, and I don't know if Janet McLeod is on this call, but she was my coach in Nova Scotia. I moved there for high school, and then went to Dalhousie. I stopped playing squash completely, and just it wasn't a thing really to do in Halifax at the time. Moved to Toronto, looking for work. I ended up being a towel boy at the Dunfield Club, and the pro at the time was Chris Herbert. And I mentioned to him, I said I played squash as a kid. You know, maybe I can help out. I can run a house league, and so that's where I got my start back into the squash world. Little did I know at that point that it would be a career. No, it wasn't Andrew McKay. It was a good question, Marina. Little did I know that would be the beginning of a very, very wonderful career, and here I am today, still in the business and loving it more than ever. I met my wife at as a towel boy. I used to punch her number and she came in. Sean Keating came through, and so squash has been just a gift to me and my family. So the love story, sort of, it's not with my wife actually. It's actually with doubles that my love story finishes. It's a romantic finish in that I was at the BNR for 2 years and I left to pursue other things. I went into the clothing business. I thought that I hadn't had enough of squash and sort of had enough of the singles permutations and combinations of squash. I was there for 2 years at Second Skin Garment Company, and fortunately the BNR offered me my job back. 2 years later, I went back, and the first day back, I went on the double squash court as just to be a fourth in a game, and I realized at that point that this was. I remember the day I was basically at work and doing something that I absolutely love. So I felt lucky, and I've never once considered leaving squash since then. It was just such a gift to be able to play squash. So I love squash more than ever. That's my love story is with double squash. I just absolutely adore it, and been focused on it for the last 20 years, I would say, on just growing and just loving the sport. So cat skinning. So this is there's more than one way to skin a cat, and so basically there are people on this call that do things very, very well and do incredible jobs running their own programs. Each pro does a wonderful job programming in a different way. I happen to like programming. I like events. I like event creation. That's my sort of sweet spot. I don't like to teach kids. I was lucky enough to hook up with Jamie Nichols. We worked together for 10 wonderful seasons, and Jamie was the Pied Piper of the junior world back then, and remains incredibly involved. So I was lucky enough to hook up with someone like that with Jamie Nichols. But the people on this call also, lots of the pros do things their own way, and they've got some great ideas. And so by no means am I an expert or guru, but what I do like, I will share with some of my experiences. So just a quick trivia question. Get your mics off if you don't mind. Just a quick question, and I'm going to ask you to quickly you know what? I'm actually not going to do it, because I think I'm going to run out of time. So I'm just going to quickly go through this. I'll revise it. I was going to do a little trivia, but here are some shots that you should just terms about double squash. So there's a classic, the reverse, the attacking shot, the skid boast from the back of the court. In doubles, it's interesting. You want to hit a shot that finishes where you want it to go, not necessarily where you want it, it finishes in the corner that you want it to go to. So for example, reverse, although you're hitting it to the front right, it actually finishes front left. Or a skid boast, although you're hitting it sort of straight, it finishes back right. So there's a lot of tricks to doubles. But some more shots. There's the classic names. There's the roll corner. There's the 3-wall, which is a boast into the nick. The Z-ball. Richardson, tell me what a Z-ball is. Pat, wake up.
Yeah, you put me on the spot. You want the camera too?
No, I mean, sure. Let's see the hair.
Yes. You'd be maybe the front. You'd be in the front half of the court. You hit the ball hard, really wide, so it's a front side, and probably cuts. Well, you get what I'm saying. It would be a Z. So I'm trying to remember. It would go, someone's charging forward, it would go past them, but it wouldn't reach the guy that's still standing around in the back.
Right. And your
Makes
dog added, your dog added a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect.
That's why the mic was off.
That's perfect. That's all I wanted. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. So Z-ball, interesting shot. It's one of the ones that not many people hit, but you see these incredible doubles players who just know the right shot at the right time. It's an art. It really is. Double squash is an art. It's not just running around. There are such great shots you can hit for the right time. It's beautiful to watch. The Philadelphia, the classic shot, finishes in the back corner, but is the opposite of a reverse. And the double boast, which is sidewall, front wall, which is a doubles or a hardball singles shot. So just a couple of, I was going to do trivia, but I'll just keep things moving on here. So just double squash, why I think and why we all love it so much, and why if you play it, you just fall in love with it. It's just chaos in a room. You've got rackets, you've got exercise, you've got so much happening, and it's just lots of giggling, lots of combinations, fun personalities. There's 4 people on court banging into each other, so it's like human pinball as I describe it. Some other reasons why it's incredible. I mean, the community is so different. When I played singles at a very mediocre level for my whole career, but I did play some local events, like the T&D close or things like that, and had very mediocre results. But I did experienced sort of the culture of singles for most of my till I was about 25. Then I switched to doubles, and the culture is very different. There's a collegial networking. When I went, I was invited to play down in Chicago. They put us up. They took care of us. There were these great parties and big passionate crowds. Anyway, it's a really, really great community. But outside of that, you get into the local events. It's just something special about double squash. So it's a beautiful community. I love that different levels can play together. I love the fact that I hope that I'm one of these. I hope that I am one of these 80-year-old men that is having a ball drilled at him at, when I can barely stand. But I hope that someone will be drilling a ball at me, and I'm just trying to hang in the rally as long as I can while this 22-year-old hotshot is just rifling the ball at me. I just can't wait for that. So you can keep going and have a competitive, have this ball zinging around you. And I've seen it so many times. I play with a regular partner, John Fauquier, and we play he's 77, and we have played for almost 20 years together. And the joy that we both experience, and it's as competitive as can be. I'm so into it. He's so into it. We're nervous. We want to win this match, and it's just so fun to watch. Particularly watching a 75-year-old man just we're in it. We're just in it. So I can't wait for that to happen. So it's a beautiful thing. You play to your 100, and then there's something really unique about doubles in that the combination of the court size, 45 by 32, I think it is. No, 45 by 28. 45 by 28, and someone will correct me, I'm sure, something like that, 45, 25, 45, 25 maybe. Anyway, and the ball and the space, it's just, for whatever reason, it's just a perfect combination. And so it's just magical. And then all the crazy situations that you run into, ball sailing over people's heads, ducking, hitting. Anyway, it's a wonderful thing. So for all those reasons, people just absolutely love it. 45 by 20, Robert Dubé, thank you, excellent. Okay, on to program development. So it's one of the most important concepts, for your club pro or wherever you are. If you are a club pro, JoJo's here, she does programming for tennis or for squash. There's other people that have that set up their programs. It's one of the most important times is the summer, and the summer months when you can really dream, you can plan, and then you can execute. So the dreaming happens in sort of like end of the season. It's April, May. Maybe like the deadest that I've ever felt has been May after a great season. I just need to stop doing anything for about a month, and then July start to get some energy back, and that's when the dreaming starts to happen. What can I do next year? How can I make this season different and more exciting than others in the past? And so you're dreaming, and then the execution starts to, you have to put it in and into some sort of a framework or plan. And so this is the picture of Lauren Sackby. Thank you, Lauren. I love this photo. You appreciate that, Lauren? What are you eating?
Thanks for that.
No problem. That's the Barracuda. That's Lauren the Barracuda. So is that a Barracuda face? It's a good one.
It is.
Okay, great. So in that month when you're dreaming and planning, one of the most important things to do is to take your entire membership list. And again, this is just my opinion. This is not, haven't written a textbook on this, but this is what I do. And I think it's very effective. So you take your entire membership list, you highlight anyone that has ever expressed an interest in double squash at all, you put them on your list, and that becomes your database for your year. You take that list, you look at all these different demographic considerations, all the ones that are listed here, where they would fit in, and then you sort of figure out where's the greatest meat of my demographic, where are the most numbers coming from, and then you might build a program specifically for that group. And so you look at those numbers. It's very easy to see it when you put it on a spreadsheet, and I do it every year. I've got something which is called just membership list, 2021 or 2020, all the way back every year. But then I put them in categories, and I see where the meat is. Based on that, I learned these are some programming options. So I like to have, this is basically in sort of order from entry level to sort of competitive level. And so it's called what I've called the Swatch Progression. And basically each level, I like to have a program that would appeal to that group. And So I try and have enough of each so that any person coming into the program can say, oh, I'm a mediocre I'd like to improve my skills. And then you draw it across. You say, I could play round robins on Wednesdays. I could play, and you go across. There's a bit of an option list. So once you start to frame that in, the next thing I always do is I map it out, frame it in. So by framing it in, what I start with every year, and this has been about 5 years I've been doing this, and this is basically, I go to the Squash Ontario calendar, I go to Squash Canada's calendar, I go to US Squash, and I find every single event that one of our members, I hope one of our members will play in. And I highlight that, I assemble it, we create this, this was the revival tour, so this was post-fire, I think maybe 2017 or something like that. And by fire, BNR had a fire in 2017. So pulling that together, basically having an outline so I know when the season begins. We start with the home opener every year, and it's not always called that, but it's something. And then we finish usually with the Canadian Senior National Championships, generally is the back end of the season. So that's where, and then at the end of the Canadian National Singles, you cry yourself to sleep for about 30 days. So, so from this, what we've done in the past, we've branded and we advertise our program. So this is the back of the shirt. Sorry, you're seeing the front of the shirt on the left, and you're seeing the back of the shirt. So all season long, and every person that played in any program would receive one of these shirts complimentary. Well, complimentary, it's prepaid. They pay to be in a program, but they get a shirt included in that. So, but it is one of the greatest advertisements. People be walking around, and I'll be running a house league, and someone will walk by with the shirt on, and we'll be talking about a tournament. I'll say, hey, turn around for a second, and they'll back into us and I'll point, say, hey, this is the tournament you need to play in. So you're constantly seeing that shirt, and people are talking about it. And we try, and I would say that we, in all of those events, we would have at least one, if not several, playing in all of those events. So it's a good reminder. So that's a little bit of branding, a little bit of advertising. Any questions on anything so far? Anyone bored to tears? Anyone have anything they want to talk about?
I was wondering what TND is.
Oh, Toronto and District.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. TND League, Toronto District. So that's, I'm sure you have the same thing in BC, same Vancouver leagues. So into instruction, and I have to say, we're talking about all the things that pros like to do. Generally, I feel pros can only do one thing really well and one thing sort of well. And so on my list, it would be programming and events, something like that. Not on my list is instruction. And so I don't really enjoy it. Don't tell me, any of my members on here? No? Good. I don't really like teaching lessons, and I do it, and I have done lots of it over the years, but I never really have enjoyed it. And I know there are many pros that like it, and there are many pros that thrive on it, and that's fantastic for them. And we have all kinds of pros that are really, really good at it. For me, it's just not my thing. I don't like kids, and I don't like teaching. I don't even like my own kids. So, but the coaching isn't something I do. But however, I do appreciate its value, and I'm just going to talk quickly about it. So the different types of instructions, just really, really quickly, and we have some of the best teachers here on the phone right now. If anyone, look, Pat Richardson is my mentor. Please jump in, because he's taught me all of these drills, are the same ones he taught me back in 1997 that I have not learned anything else new. No new tricks. So now's the time to show some new tricks. If anyone's got some new tricks, pipe up. So a beginner clinic. The one thing I'd say about the beginner clinic is, this is for relatively new people who have never played doubles before, but they love it. It's very confusing. Doubles is very confusing. How the serving works and how you start playing and who stands where and the rotation and stuff. What I have done in the past and what I continue to do is I keep it very, very simple. And so we might play a point, and we might start off by just talking about the basics. Words can't describe how confusing it is. So you just need to put your pieces, put the players like chess pieces where they're supposed to stand, and then say, your first move is you serve and then go there. Your first move is you return the serve and you go there. Let's play 2 hits. And then you play 2 hits and then you stop the rally. Okay, let's switch sides. Let's try that again. And then you go from 2 hits to 3 hits. And then, then you just keep, and then you stop, go, and then stop, and then get the other people to serve and return serve. So you go really slowly, step by step, build it brick by brick. And then eventually by the end of like 1 hour, they get the idea a little bit, and then they can serve and play a game by themselves. So that's all that I say about beginners clinics. I do have to say, beginners have a really tough time with double squash. You need to have some fundamentals of squash. It's very challenging for someone who's not played squash, single squash, to go to a double court. It's very challenging, and I've never really found a solution for that other than go back to the singles court and keep working on how to retrieve the ball out of the back corner, or work on volleying, or something that can help them get better at that. So singles lessons, one person's, I love one, I don't love it, but I do it, and I enjoy it the most, which would be a one-on-one session. So I can do a 1 hour lesson with someone. I can give them a great workout. We can work on all kinds of things. We can work on issues for them. We can work on strategy. We can talk about stroke production. We can talk about, we can give them, we can do drills. We can do, so running around, you can do it in sort of like 15-minute segments. So you broke up into 4 15s and do 15 minutes on each, finishing with a great running drill. It might be singles on a doubles court, or just working on just some basic movement on the courts. So that's one. 2 pairs teams practice is very easy. As Mike Way used to say, I love doing coaching with 2 people because I can sit back with a donut and a coffee and just sit back and watch them play. And it's sort of like that. You can stand there like this is a classic Pat Richardson stance, like this. Stance like this when you're coaching, and you just stand there and you yell at them and tell them, we hit the ball higher, give them some instructions, more breaking, you can talk to them. So pairs, there's all kinds of drills for 2s that you can do, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So 3s, you can do king of the court, which is 1 person stays. You can do sort of the cross court game, or sides, and the people, you can safely, for the most part, drift along the back wall who isn't playing. So that's what we do that quite frequently. So whether it's 3 people, 1 person drifting, so that's 2 people playing, 1 person not playing. 2-on-1 is all 3 people playing at the same time, and you have basically, it says it's 2-on-1. So that is, and then you keep track of your own score. You play regular games. One little asterisk is to the return of serve generally has to go above the service line for the 2 people. Anyway, that's one. And then there's the 3-and-me, which is basically 3 people in a pro, and stopping and talking as you're going through. 4 people is great condition games. You can get teams practicing against each other. Again, you can play a full match with either standing in the gallery and sort of conducting and coaching as they're going through, or you can drift along the back wall while the 4 people are playing and talking about, again, reminding them mid-rally. You can be yelling at them instructions, higher, deeper, push them back, attack, like that kind of thing. So lots of opportunities, and it's a little bit easier for me anyway. If I'm not playing, I can focus on the people playing, and so when I'm playing is in the 3-and-me, I find it very challenging to stay engaged in, because you lose track and it gets confusing a little bit. Anyway, that's just for me, simple mind. So drills and games, stroke production is a small little tip. I find stroke production works much better on a singles court. I use a singles ball. If someone wants to work on a double stroke, I generally start with a singles ball. Even it doesn't sound right, but I start with a singles ball on the singles court for a couple of reasons. One, you can feed the ball a little bit better. You can work on the shorter swing or whatever you're working on. The ball doesn't roll around as much. It's a much smaller court, so you can actually get more accomplished in a shorter period of time. But I'd like to go maybe, if I did a 40-minute lesson, I might do 20 minutes on the singles court with the singles ball, and then progress to the doubles court, and pick up where we, with the second half, we would do it on the doubles court. And I think that's nice also because you get a little bit of break, you get a drink of water, and you've done two different courts, and it moves, it's pretty interesting. Solo practice. Again, there's lots of different drills. If you ever want any more information, I can either help you with it, or I can actually connect you with someone who knows, kind of the gurus of the sport. And there are probably about 5 or 6 gurus that you can be connected with if you have any. Shot making, you can work on shot making. Doubles ball in the singles court is a great exercise. Work on your reaction times. I highly recommend that. Teams will warm up on the singles court, and it's really great for getting your reaction time and getting your eye in the game. Again, there are some games you can play to 15 points with 2 people. It's called the cross-court game. It's a classic, the most classic game, but then there's also right wall game and left wall game. And singles on the doubles court is also, you just play against each other and 1 double bounce per round. So those are some instructional things. So I'm going to go into house leagues. Does anyone have any questions on instruction at all? Anyone have any questions about anything there? About the cross-court game? No? We're good? Okay. Here we go. So house leagues. The most important part of a good squash program is the Monday night house league, the Tuesday night house league. It just gets the people playing on a regular basis, and it's so important that you have a good house league. And so here are some of my tips for running a good house league. One is the service trifecta, which Jamie Nichols would have been the beneficiary of me yelling at him, telling him that he's got, never actually him, he was always very good. I must admit, but Jamie knows my 3 points of contact, which is every member must be greeted when they arrive. Welcome. Hey, nice to see you. You're on court 3. You're playing Davey. He's got to watch out for his backhand. Whatever you're saying, you know, they come in, they get greeted. The next one is when they come off the court, they're all sweaty. Hey, how did it go? Who won? And then the third one is as they're leaving. See you soon. This isn't so much for the pros here, obviously, but you may not be able to be there running house league. You may want to have someone running your house leagues. You may want to have, one of your assistant pros. But what is important, because it is such a feature of your program, it has to be good. It has to be engaging, and it really is it's a lifeline of your programs, and you need to make it exciting. It has to be exciting. So one of the things that I've highlighted here is something called the ball monkey, which is Jamie and I used to exchange who was the ball monkey on a given week. But the ball monkey basically is the person, if someone no shows, or you're missing a fourth, or there's an injury or something happens, we just like ball monkey time, and the person would just hop on the court and complete the game to keep the feel and the vibe going. And so it's always, I highly recommend you having a ball monkey there. And it sounds degrading, but it's really not. It's just basically someone to facilitate keeping the great vibes going in your house league. In terms of charging, we charge $10 a week, which can seem expensive for some clubs. Like someone up in Collingwood, like Marina, would shudder at the fact of charging $100 for a 10-week house league. Us city slickers down in the city, $100 is just like nothing. We just floated around. Marina, you should come down to the city sometime. But $10 a week is a good number. If you can push the value, if you can push the number up to $7 to $8 to $10, you have enough money in there to pay a person, to pay your professional well. You can have prizes, you can have dinner, you can have prize at the end. I say that, but there's it's worth it. When I started the BNR, it was $25 for a 10-week session, and that was 1997. Within I would say within 2 months, I had it to $50 and then got it to $100. And it wasn't that I was looking, it wasn't me making more money or me being greedy or trying to make more. It was absolutely about providing value and having the ability to give more back. And it was just enhancing the program for the members and making it better and better. Better prizes, more beer, more dinner at the end, t-shirts. As I said, like the t-shirt was incorporated, which is the programming opportunity. So that's it. So just going to quickly run through some house league formats, which is the individual rotate, which is different player, different partner, and different opponents each week. And this is something called the Soup League. We had it on Friday afternoons. It was basically, talk about your demographics. We saw there were a bunch of women that like to play on Fridays at noon. They always finish with soup. And so we said, hey, why don't we make a league, and I'll organize things, and we'll make sure that someone's always here, and there's a game for you every week, and you won't have to worry about who's playing and scrambling. And so we solved that problem. And so at the end of it, the loser would buy the soup. And so that was our house league. So you can see it's different partner and different opponents each week. The nice thing here, there's a bye week here. Odd numbers are fantastic for doubles, because when you're short someone, you can email 4E on October the 3rd, hey, can one of you play? I need a fourth, and use those as automatic subs. and more often than not, they get to play. So I love that. This is a fixed team league. Basically, pairs playing pairs. They're bonding together. They want to play together. These are all mostly, at the time, were young guys. This is probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. They're a little bit older now, but at the time I remember them being sort of young. And basically they play each other. They all play each other once. We keep the stats, and then the winning team wins dinner for 4. And so that was basically, they could invite a guest, and we charged them, I can't remember, probably $100 or whatever. But if you're talking about, there's a couple $1,000s there in revenue at $100, you can afford to put 4 people in your restaurant having dinner, and then typically maybe one of us would come over and serve them, for a joke, and deliver the food, dressed in an apron or something like that. So just to have some fun with it. Basic team league. 1 year with the TND, the Toronto District League, we withdrew a team and we made an internal house league. So we basically had the same concept. We had 4 team captains. We gave them a smattering of players. We broke them up into equal levels, and then they would field their own team each week. They'd field teams of 6. You can see on the right-hand side, there's the order of play. So it's very similar feel to the TND league, but it was internal league, and we took the empty court that was created by not having a TND league, and we turned that into something called Our House. So this is the Turkey League. This is an incredible product, which was sputtered for the better part of 2 decades. Was just a mediocre. I love the concept, which was Turkey. The Turkey League comes from Thanksgiving dinner to Christmas dinner. So basically, it was that window, and everyone would play each other, and it was on the weekends because the courts were a little bit freer on the weekends. So this was a very, very mediocre product for many, many years, but I stuck with it. And it wasn't until we added the statistics. We added in a scorekeeper. We found someone, and we'll get to that in just a second. But the concept of this league is the turkeys are the best, chickens are the middle, and the ducks are the lowest level in this league. And you play each other within your division. Any chicken can challenge a turkey on an off time. If a chicken beats a turkey, they flip positions in the league instantly. So, and same thing with ducks can challenge chickens. Anyway, it's the jokes, as you can imagine, the jokes, the write-ups write themselves. All the turkey jokes, you can fill your hat with lots of bird jokes. It's incredible. But anyway, it was very, very fun. So the winning team got direct entry into our Pro-Am, which is in February. So we'd run this to Christmas. They'd win the trophy, and they'd win right into the Pro-Am, which is a big deal at our club. So that was so what makes a good league great? What makes a good league great? And I didn't discover this until I knew it, but I didn't really know it until I saw the Turkey League. And the Turkey League got amazing. It was people cared so much, and they were talking about it, like the emails. I played him, and this didn't count, and he didn't show, all the things. And when that intensity goes up, you're doing something right. The answer is good statistics. You need to. It's so important for any house league. If you're keeping track, people care. If you're not, the apathy goes way up. So keep track, publicize your stats, show them where they stand, make them really important, make them make up their matches, make sure that there's some value to the stats. It's so important. And then from that also comes a chippy broadcast afterwards. Every week you'd send an update saying, this turkey beat that turkey, and a chicken this, and turkey duck that, whatever. Anyway, but just keep the weekly stats, keep the weekly broadcast going with your stats to back them up. So fun. So this is just an example of the stats. This is the gold person is the person that won. The bronze is the person that finished second. But very, very detailed stats. This is the weekly score sheet that was posted on the door. Jeff, how am I doing for time here? Oh, okay, I'm going to ramp it up here. The XSDL. This is Jamie Nichols and I and a couple other guys were involved in sort of like dreaming about building this league, and it was so fun. We basically took the 50 top pros in the city, invited them to join this professional, and I use the words, air quotes for this, for sure, professional. So we invited the 50 people to the B&R on our open night for a draft night. And this is the draft night. We had 5 teams, we had sponsors, you'll see on those tables, there are hats. Each, when you were drafted, we would call your name out. The first pick overall goes to, it's just like a hockey draft. And they did it this is from our court up to the gallery where all 50 pros, it was a mandatory attendance, and they had to show They all had to dress up in their jacket and tie. It was a big deal. We made it a big deal. It was hilarious. So, but a huge success, and we didn't get to see the end of it because of the pandemic, but it's still out there. But it was incredible. This is post draft. Everyone's got their hats on. They know what team they're playing for. We did the photo shoot thanks to a good BC guy in Rob. Oh, come on. What's the BC guy? He's involved in marketing.
Pacey.
Rob Pacey,
Pacey.
thank you. Pacey, exactly. Thanks to Rob Pacey, he did these logos and gave us the branding. Incredible guy. So I'm going to get to this in a second, talking about how you make things successful. One of them is find those people that are incredible. And Rob Pacey's one of those guys. He loves squash, so passionate. He helped us out. Anyway, so there's the schedule. So fun, so silly. We took it very seriously. Again, the statistics were huge. Jamie Nichols did the write-ups, hilarious write-ups. He had lots of material to choose from. The puns and the jokes about lizards beating grasshoppers or whatever. It was just fantastic. So on the right-hand side, you see what does R&D stand for? Someone told me this years ago. Research and development, no, rip off and duplicate. So take this. I'd be happy to share this template with you. I'll share any stuff with anyone. Just send me an email and I'll be happy to help you with any of this stuff. Feel free to call anytime. So outside tournaments, these are great for inspiring your membership to get better, to want to get better. You can get a group to go to the TND singles down in at the Mayfair Lakeshore. It's a great tournament. It's at all levels. You get 15, 20 people to go down there together. They're part of a team. You can get them team shirts. The Canadian Nationals, the doubles nationals, whatever the tournament is, we go to the Harvest Hit. We go to, just Harvest Hits in Pickering. We'll go, we'll take our team, take our players, all these places, and it's so great. So I really encourage you it gets people focused on getting better. They lose and it means something. They've got a ref and they lose and it means something. So then they want to come back to your club and they want to get better and they're paying attention. So it really does drive your sport. It really does drive that high level, high performance drives your sport. So getting people engaged and getting them competitive is so important. Even though it could be a C level, it could be a D, it could be an E, it doesn't matter. Being competitive really drives their interest. And it frustrates them, they lose and they're so mad. So what makes a good event a great one? And the answer is, what makes a good event a great one? A committee takes a good event and makes it a great one. Now, this is not a committee. This is just the Barracudas, and I just wanted to embarrass Lauren again, just take an opportunity. But this is they have no right being called a committee because they couldn't really manage much. I'm just kidding, Lauren. But this is so a committee is what makes a big difference. Now, just a quick little story about 3 little sparks that have driven the successes at our club, taken them from what I thought was a very good level to a great level. And it was, I'm very involved in the passion, I'm very involved in the creativity, but there's a limit to how much I can do. And at some point, you need a team of people. And if you can tap into the people that have similar love of double squash, and there are lots of them out there who love doubles. And so as an example, there's a member of our club named Eric Windler. I would wake up after a pro-am and he would have flooded the social media with amazing pictures. And if you go to Instagram, I think it's Winter Classic or something like that, I would check that out. There's lots of incredible photos, and that's all done by Windler. I'm not a social media guy, but he is, and he revolutionized our whole offering, and it was incredible. So I had nothing to do with it. He did it all. So, but still, the tournament just gets so much better. Another example is Nigel Meakin, the stats man for the Turkey League. This guy there are 2 things. He's incredibly good at Excel and had these incredible spreadsheets, which blew my mind. I didn't even know what a VLOOKUP was until I met this guy. But the other thing is that he is such a jerk in the best way possible. He doesn't mind calling something saying, that's a default. I'm in the service business. I can't be a jerk to the members. I can't do it. But this guy loves it, and he would follow the rules. He created the rule sheets. If you don't play by this date, you'll be defaulted. And he would just say, you're defaulted. And that's what I needed. I needed that to make the league mean something. So anyway, without Nigel Meakin, that turkey league would continue to stink until I got help. So this couldn't have happened without someone like Nigel. Another spark. Josh Janu, incredible genius of a guy. Really, let's just say he's a very interesting gentleman, but he has got incredible skills, and he's so passionate about what he does. He wants to make the product as good as it can be. So it's his genius, and he loves double squash. So you just have to find these people in your community who just are, they don't really want too much in exchange other than they want to be involved, and it taps into something that they love. And so finding those sparks is so key. This is a sample tournament committee and positions. This is kind of a classic. This is the cricket club format or the granite club format, big committees. In most examples and most programs that you will run at your club, this is one person doing all of this. However, if you can pluck off a couple of these with people, finding in your community, find someone that can really help you with social media as an example, or sponsorship. Maybe someone's really connected and doesn't mind. They're in sales and they don't mind asking for money. Or I can connect you. There's this one guy that I know that said, man, I just need $2,500. He goes, I'll be right back. And he hung up the phone, called back. He said, count him in for $2,500. And like these guys, there are people, and that's not my specialty, but you just got to surround yourself with people that want to help you, that have great skill sets and can contribute to your goal, your vision. You want a great tournament, these people will latch onto you and run with you, but it's their incredible talents. So there's lots of different meat there. Mine your membership for gold. There's tons of gold in your membership, and just find these little nuggets of people. They will help you more than you can ever imagine. You turn your back and all of a sudden it's like, like they'll be fully decorated. I'll turn on the registration desk will be set up, the shirts or whatever, and it's all decorated in some sort of theme. Like, oh, how does that happen? And we're so lucky to find people. Pat Richardson has got Deb Ince at the cricket club. She's the go-to. She just kills it every time. Just know when she's on it, she's going to kill it. So find these people. What makes a great tournament even more memorable is sponsorship. If you can find, and by sponsorship, I'm going to show you, this is brought to you by the cheeky Marina Bennett, so that's her sponsorship. But this is a list of sponsors that we have for our biggest event of the year, and this is a lot of sponsors. It didn't start like this, it just grew to this through people's interest and involvement in simply just wanting to be involved with the fun and energy of this tournament. It can start with one person giving you $100. It can start with 4 people giving you 25. In fact, when we started with the Pro-Am, it was patron fee, which is just a supporter, was $25 per. It's now $200. Someone going to cut me off here? No? Keep going. So just consider getting sponsors, trying to find ways to get a little bit more. A little bit goes a long way. You can get a couple people with a little bit of support. Club championships, great way to cap off your season. They mean a lot, make it competitive. Again, same thing, people will play their whole season to get ready for the club championships. So it's a very, very important key feature of the bookend, the beginning and the end. The club championships are a great bookend to your season. Here's an example of a draw. This is an example of a court flow for doubles. It's so complicated. It's so hard to get 4 people on the court at the same time. We schedule them. We're very regimented about it, and we make sure we book off the court and make sure be there at that time or play it for your next round, or you are gonzo. And we keep it moving, and most people comply when they feel that you're serious. So that's an overall. Okay, Jamie's chirping me. Branding your events. So I think it's so important for you to give your event a feel, somehow give it something special. People will start to see it. So some examples of that, you pick a theme, maybe develop a logo. There for sure at your club, there's some sort of graphic designer. For sure there's someone that has sort of flair for that kind of stuff. Get them involved, like a Rob Pacey or someone like that. They want to help, and they have pride. They love doubles and they want to build it. So they will help you. Color schemes, t-shirts, decorations, use social media. Find someone, if you're not a social media person, find the people to leverage your event, and take lots of photos, and make sure you share those photos some way, somehow, and capture it. So as an example, this is the Century Cup. This is combined over 100 years age, young play with old. And so this is just an example of the branding. We've got this logo that was created. It's an amazing tournament, and so great for young and old to play together. This is our throwback tournament. This is a pro-am, again, just more branding. People got dressed up, people got into it, and this was our finals night. So just a good thing. I'm going to show you this one video. It's 1 minute. Part of throwback. That's just a promo video that went out before our opening night, just to get people into the video, something different. Any sort of different media you can release to people goes a long way. We had the fire, the club burnt down. We had to have a tournament. We wanted to have a tournament. We held this tournament in June. So again, it's just called the Fireball. It was a replacement for our Pro-Am, and so it's just one example. I'm not going to show you this promo video, but again, another promo video was sent out there, and I'll just show you the beginning of it. You can see sort of the theme.
It started just after 9 o'clock this morning, a fire in the nearly 100-year-old Toronto Badminton and Racquet Club. According to one witness who was inside the club at the time, at first it didn't seem too serious, but it did not take long before the building was fully engulfed. This amateur video was shot from a nearby condo building and shows the roof falling in. Now, 9 hours later, and crews are still frantically trying to bring the 6-alarm blaze under control. In fact, they say a complete collapse of the building is imminent.
So that was and it went on. There was a big little speech from the cricket club. Thanks. That was cricket club gave us our court to finish our Pro-Am, but that was a video from that, and then we went on to show some more clips. Again, more branding. This is from our Pro-Am last year, Big Kahuna, Hawaiian themed. Some spicy ideas. Just sort of getting to the end here. We used to have this thing called monkey doubles, which was a racket which was cut down, and an old wooden racket. We use a blue dot ball and we play doubles. Pretty funny. You can get, twice the number of people playing. You can get 16. We've got 4 courts. You get 16 people all at once. They're playing with basically doubles on a single squash court. But now we've got Squash 57, so we look forward to seeing that. But that's a great opportunity for you to consider that. Custom rackets, Hero does incredible. We've done 3 of them now, and they're basically, we customize this with our logos. This says on the side of this racket, I'm not sure if you can see, but it says the official racket of the 2019 Winter Classic champion. And so this was one of our prominent members, Gord Cheeseborough family. He has signed this racket, so it's a signature series racket, but it's covered in our logos. And they're great rackets. They play beautifully, and so those were very popular. We've done it 3 times now. Start small with sponsorship. What else? Spray paint the names in the back. I should have meant to mention that earlier. At the Fireball, we gave people nicknames and we spray painted their names in the back of their shirts, and it was just not something funny that we did. And then short exhibitions. Keep your exhibitions short, kind of like your presentations, so they'll drag on too long. So try to keep things short and leave them wanting more. which is what I hope I have done with you. I hope I've left you wanting more. So I hope you found a nugget. Pat, looks like he's still awake. Fantastic. And then I hope you're feeling more excited about your double squash. So I hope that this is giving you some hope. It'll be a while since we can get back to it. But I hope that you are excited to get back to growing doubles and loving the sport that we all love so much. I can't wait, and I know we can't wait to get back out there. So any questions at all, my email address is there, my phone number is there. You can text me, call me, email me anytime. I'm always happy to share any ideas. And if I don't know, I can put you in touch with someone that is the absolute best person in our industry to help you with your any questions or ideas you may have. And that is it. In short and in closing, thank you.
All day.
Thank you, Eric. That was fantastic. Does anyone have any questions of Eric? If you do, by all means, unmute your microphones and feel free to ask while you're unmuting your microphones. For those still on the call, just a friendly reminder that coming up, our next Squash Canada Coach PD webinar will be Tuesday, May 11th at noon. We have a Squash Canada national team member, Nicole Bunyan, doing a presentation on how to create a well-rounded training plan for you as a coach and your athletes. Nicole is obviously our member of our national squad, but also a certified personal trainer and nutritionist. So she's going to bring a very interesting presentation to the table to help you coaches out there. And with that being said, any questions for Eric?
Jimbo, you must have one question.
I don't really, well, I've asked you a lot of questions over the years, but I'll just second the point you made about stats with house leagues. It wasn't until we added really good detailed stats and a good write-up, a weekly write-up, that our leagues really took off. So yeah, creating those stats and maintaining them right up to date, the day after, getting them out there, that was huge. And we also charge about $12, I guess, a night for our league. And we offer beer and food every night. So, it kind of encourages them to stick around and hang out after the matches. But stats is big.
One of the inspirations for me early on was when I first got the job at the BNR. I hadn't played a lot, but I started playing the Conveners Cup at the Granite Club, which was a classic tournament. And that was probably where Jim would walk around. Probably the first real doubles tournament that I got to see what someone creating an atmosphere was. And I don't like to flatter Jim very often, but he would walk around with his cape and the top hat on. He'd have to be on the microphone. He'd be walking around. It'd be great atmosphere. We had so much fun. It was one of the greatest tournaments. And rumor is that it's coming back, Jimbo. Is that true? Can you confirm that?
I'm going to confirm that right here on this webinar. It's coming back. As soon as we open up and we're good to go, we're bringing it back.
And one of my own personal highlights is that I'm the 12-time finalist.
Come on.
Yeah, 12-time finalist. I got beaten by like DeMoro and Hewitts. It was so upsetting.
We've got to get you to win it one of these years. You're gonna do it.
I'm too old.
You can be in the final and exclusive.
How can you not get 12 times and not win once? Like injury or something like that? You figure. Nope. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a stat right there.
Eric, thank you. That was a lot of work to put together, and I'm sure at different clubs, a lot of people have touched on different parts of, have addressed different parts of what you're talking about. But to see it all put together at once, I'm just sorry that you didn't do this 20 odd years ago, and I could have been more aware of the things that we weren't doing at events. So thank you very much for putting this together.
You're kidding you? Now the greatest event of all was the 1998 World Doubles. Do you agree? You remember that one? I mean, it was incredible. again, that was I started in 1997, so by 98 we had the World Doubles, and it was just so just there's 500 people, and it was just at parties, and it was just it was an incredible tournament. So that was also was
lots of good video from that tournament. Anyway, I got somebody coming here. I got to leave. Baldy, that was awesome. Appreciate it. Good to see everybody. I got to leave. Cheers.
See ya.
Last call for questions from anybody. Does anyone have any questions? If not, as Eric said, please don't hesitate to email or call Eric at the BNR. He is always willing to help. And as I'm sure everybody knows by the presentation Eric put on today, you know, he's a fun guy. He likes to have a good time and do a great job, and is always willing to help when you ask. Hence, you know, he did not even hesitate when I asked him to put on this webinar. So if you have questions, please call him. And with that being said, I'm going to guess no questions. So Eric, thank you so much for today's presentation, and to everybody's engagement, including Lauren and her lovely pictures that Eric highlighted.
You call that engagement?
No, I have no regret.
That's disengagement, just so we're clear. I was expecting a little more from you, Lauren, as usual. And I hope that's recorded.
Sorry, I'm saving myself for all my webinars this week.
Good luck to you. I'm going to come and heckle you. Don't worry. I'll be engaged when I come.
Great.
Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for your time.